Good morning, everybody. It's what are we talking about? The 22nd of June, 2015. It's time for another edition of Weber This Week here on Finger Lakes One. Sharon Hoatland, the artistic genius of the Gould, who is behind the scenes of all the major events over there. We're here. She's on the couch this morning talking about the Gould Hotel for our 30-minute show. It's good to have you alongside. The dog with you on a beautiful Monday. It's not often I've been saying it the last several weeks with all the rains that have come through the area, but now we're getting a little bit of a break. It's nice. Hope you all had a great Father's Day. I just want to send out kudos to my daughter Sam, Samantha, and my granddaughter Izzy. They put on a spectacular meal for good old Dad yesterday. Man, we had all kinds of food. I was telling Sharon before the show, we ate for like hours. It was good. Thank God we didn't have to go on a scale after eating dinner. But I hope you all had a great Father's Day. I hope you took your dads out to dinner or enjoyed a barbecue like we did. So it's a Monday, the 22nd of June. We have some comments about the U.S. Open Golf Tournament. A lot of excitement about that if you follow golf. But Sharon, good to have you alongside. And I've seen you do your trick over at the Gould on many things. I remember one of the classic events was I think it was called the Denim and Diamonds that you put on for the Trinity Church.
Yes,
that was spectacular last October.
They're
and
in
I
the
believe
process.
You're going to do it again.
We sure are. They've got started already beginning to plan, and we've got the date set. So it's exciting. It'll be the last weekend in October, the 30th.
Let's talk for the folks that may not know you, that see you at the Gould, or walking through the quarters and making sure everything's in check. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you were born, where you went to school, how you got involved in coming to Seneca Falls.
Well, I was raised in Michigan, which is probably about 6.5 hours from here, not that far. However, when I was in my early 20s, we won't go there, but when I was in my early 20s, I went to Florida. And I was with the cosmetic industry, started out with Revlon, and did a lot of different things throughout the cosmetic world. I was a sales director. I was a representative for different ones. I was a national training director, brought one of the national cosmetic companies from Paris into the United States. I was the first training director there, and stayed in that industry for about 30 years, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I became a personal shopper for Saks Fifth Avenue. So fashion and cosmetics, girly girl stuff was great. I raised 2 daughters in Florida. One now is getting ready to move to San Francisco with a great job, and my other daughter is in school in Sarasota, Florida, and trying to decide what she would like to do. My husband and I came up to the Finger Lakes about 3.5 years ago. He is from here.
Okay.
And his job brought us up here, and I thought, well, I would trade in the ocean for the lakes, and found this wonderful hotel. I was driving by with my husband and saw the building and said, what is that? And he said, well, at the time it was the Hotel Clarence. And he said, that's the Gould. He always called it the Gould.
Yeah.
He said, my father cut hair there back in the 70s. And so I said, wow, I'd really like to work there. So sure enough, I applied, and it took a while, but I got in there. So I do the events and the sales and the marketing. I go from one extreme, from planning and creating the events, to weddings and business meetings with corporate accounts. So we do a lot of different things.
So what is your exact title there?
Event Sales and Marketing Manager.
Okay. And by the way, for full disclosure, I was one of the first employees hired at the Clarence way back when. I live up the street, a few blocks from here, and I had retired from Gould's Pumps, and my wife Mary, we were driving by what was going to be the Clarence as they were building it, the mega structure. And Mary said, you know what, honey, that'd be a great part-time job for you. You ought to apply. And I did apply, and the management team that they brought in originally, they had an opening for a nighttime auditor to begin.
That's not an easy job, you know.
Oh, my. I'll tell you something. Well, that was several years ago. I might have been early 60s, I guess. Yeah, 62, 63-ish. And I said, okay, let me see here. I think I'll apply. So I applied, went through the interview process. My forte when I was with Gould's Pumps, now it's ITT Industries, now it's Xylem, all kinds of names for our company. But it was going to be special, and I thought, I'm going to apply, and lo and behold, I got hired, and they said, well, your first part-time job will be to be the nighttime auditor. You'll be at the desk checking people in at night, 11 to 7, and you'll have to do all this paperwork.
How'd that work for you, Harold?
I want to tell you, Sharon, for a guy that was in his 60s, I probably made a mistake. I loved it there. It was fun meeting customers. They come in to check in or check out at 4 in the morning. But I got to admit, during the process of doing all the auditing, it wasn't that hard. There were certain procedures you had to follow. It was different, and I enjoyed it, and I got to admit, it was quite an impressive thing. And one quick story about It's a Wonderful Life theme, which I know you recreate every year in December. We had the film playing 24/7.
Right. That's right.
On the wall, not where the desk is now.
Right.
And I used to crack up. People would come in from Michigan or Ohio, and they would come from all over the country. And that film would just keep streaming right along.
Did you know every word by this point?
Oh, my God. And so finally, myself and one of the colleagues over there, we would take a break and shut it off for a little bit, like an hour, and then resume it. People would come back from walking down Seneca Falls, and they wouldn't see anything on the screen. They'd go crazy. What happened to the film? And we go push the button, and
I can.
My point is,
that.
you'd see it 700 times a day.
Easy.
But it was great, and so full disclosure, I worked there, and I left after a year and a half. I moved on to do another part-time job, but it was fun, and I liked it. But since you came on board, I know a lot of changes. Tell the viewers, Sharon Hoatland is my special guest this morning. She does the director of marketing, etc., events, and she does a phenomenal job. And talking before I met her personally, they said this lady down there, she handles everything. You tell her the theme, and she works on a theme for you and creates it and sets up the tables to match that theme. It's just spectacular. Tell us a little bit about the theory of, okay, it was the Clarence. Everybody made a big deal out of it. It's a Wonderful Life, even though I know you bring it back. What was the thinking of changing it back to the way it was way back when it was the Gould? Had to be a lot of thought process in that.
It was. One of the biggest things, I think, the company is owned by JGB Hose, which is out of Liverpool.
Right.
And we are managed by Hospitality Concepts, which is a management group that oversees several properties, Hamilton, outside of Hamilton, New York, the Colgate Inn, Tavern Number 10, Mandana Inn, which is in Skinny Atlas, and of course our sister company is the Red Mill Inn in Baldwinsville.
Sure.
So they oversee that, and when they came in, we kept hearing a lot, and we always did hear. As I said, my husband called it the Gould always, never did call it the Hotel
That's
Clarence.
That's what I've done too, yeah.
But from my understanding, when they had it as the Clarence, it was more or less taken from the theory of the movie.
Exactly.
So that's where they went with it. Well, when the consulting team came back, they took in a lot of input from the community, which they continue to do since the updo and the renovations have happened as well. And the biggest thing they always heard is, why did they change the name to the Hotel Clarence? Well, we still call it the Gould. So, it's tough to rebrand.
Exactly.
And then so they went back to with the Hotel Clarence, that was tough. Then it was tough to go back, but then again, it really wasn't that tough because, as I said, everybody calls it the Gould. So it's made a lot of great friendships, I think, and people relating to it better, locally particularly.
Sure.
So it took a while, but it wasn't that difficult. It really wasn't. It was actually quite heartwarming to see some people that said, thanks for bringing the name back. So it was great. And so it's done nothing but great things for us.
And by the way, Sharon, of course, as I say, involved in the event. If you're checking us out this morning, hopefully you are. If you're not watching us live, you'll check us later. But let me say this much. If you have a special event, an anniversary, a big birthday, a wedding, etc., contact her and she will sit down with you and decide what you want to be done and what the theme is, and you'll work on the details, right, Sharon?
Yes, that's exactly right. We, of course, we can hold about 125 in our ballroom.
Right.
Oftentimes, and this is one of the things that's really great for us, is that we get a lot of locals here that come in that have grown up in this area. Maybe the young people have moved away, met someone, want to come back home to get married and enjoy the Finger Lakes life and the downtown of Seneca Falls. So the Gould is a great place to at least start, and I'm all about giving back and staying in the community. Yes, we're the only hotel. I think it's important that locals at least give us a shot.
I agree.
If in fact, we may not be big enough for you, but maybe we're big enough for rehearsal dinner, or as you mentioned, shower. Or nowadays, it's a big thing to do an after-wedding bridal brunch or breakfast because it gives the families a lot of time. And if you've been to a wedding recently, you know it goes very quickly. And therefore, the bride and the groom don't get a chance to even see some aunts and uncles that have traveled to come and see them.
Right.
So it's an awesome thing. So we do a lot of that and kind of relate to family reunions. I've got several of those this summer, which is awesome. But yes, we do create the events. And one of my biggest things for me personally, as well as for the hotel, is working with nonprofits. And as you know, we did the House of Concern.
Right.
The Traveling Little Black Dress has been very successful for them, as well as the Tacky Tourist Party, which is going to be happening again in January. So we create these things for the community it's easy for everyone to get to, but at the same side of the coin, we do a lot of things with our corporate accounts too.
Right.
So with ITT, and of course, as you said, Xylem, Thomas Electronics, we do a lot of things locally with the base companies here.
It's interesting, and Sharon and her team over there, the management team, do listen because again, I live 3 blocks from here, and I frequent the Gould, as she knows, quite often with my wife Mary. And the thing that I like is there was a time with the menu you had really items that you could select, and they were fairly good sized portions. Not pricey, but higher than maybe somebody wanted to pay if you want a smaller portion. And Sharon, to your credit and to the team over there, I love the new menu. I love the fact you give smaller portion scenario that you can opt to if you want to. You don't have to, but it's there in case you wanted to. I like that idea, and kudos to the management giving the folks that come in an opportunity to go somewhere else with a smaller portion.
Well, I'm impressed with the fact that the management does listen to the community.
Yeah.
And they, we hope someday that our bar, the tavern, and it's beginning to be quite the place to meet, that's where you hear a lot of information. I mean, people have no problem telling you how they feel.
Oh, I'm sure they
especially here in Seneca Falls. And I'm grateful for that because at least we know. And so to your point on the menu, the menu is actually quite diverse. We work a lot with our farmers market. As you know, it's opened recently with our rains. It's not been so easy as things haven't come up the way I guess they expect it.
Sure.
But in working with the co-op extension, why they keep us informed, and we plan dinners and things around the farmers market. We'll be doing one that will kick it off, but we're waiting right now. We had it planned for 1st of July, but right now I'm not even sure. And speaking with them yesterday, as a matter of fact, that what's going to be ready. So we may have to kind of postpone that. But we involve that kind of thing with the hotel. The chefs get involved. We don't want to lose the high-end quality of food.
Sure.
So it takes time to create these menus.
Right.
And so they've done that very, very well and did keep the prices down. They also do smaller portion options, as you mentioned.
Right.
We also have a tapas night on Thursdays now. We've just started, which is a great way for people to stop in and try something. Maybe they've never been there. Maybe they never even thought to come.
Right.
But this might be an opportunity to try something. So now they've started tapas Thursdays, so that would be a great thing for someone to try.
And by the way, from the dog, Weber this week, my number 1 dish at the Gould is the pot roast dish. Absolutely love that dish.
Unbelievable.
I love that dish. You could cut it just with a little fork. Got the mashed potatoes and the vegetables surrounding. My number 1 dish, and I always get it there. I probably get it there 90% of the time. It's one of my favorite dish.
The Yankee pot roast.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That is fabulous.
It really is. It's amazing.
Sharon Hoatland's our special guest in charge of marketing. She's event planner. She does it all. She wears a lot of hats. She'll continue our discussion. We'll take a break for our great commercial break here, talk about our great sponsors to make this show possible. We'll come back with a couple of sports comments, and then we'll resume our discussion with Sharon Hoatland. Stay with us. Cayuga Lake National Bank. Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora. A fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor, Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her great team will find that right spirit for you every time. Tell Amy the dog sent you. Cicino's. Live, laugh, eat well. It's the Italian way. It's also the Cicino's way. Place your order today at Cicinos.com. Locations, Main Street, Waterloo, and 401 Exchange Street in Geneva. Steve Wadhams, Wadhams Enterprises, your employer of choice. Proud supporter of this show and local athletics. Bob and Leslie Ullman, owners of the Ullman Theater, in Lions as well as the Newark Pilots, a minor league baseball team with a major league ballpark. SenecaFallsCountryClub.com. Awesome 18-hole layout, offering a 12-month payment plan. Home of the toughest par 4 in central New York. Wilson Press, WPress.com. Seneca Falls, Rich Rickey, my good friend, and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Rich Rickey, Wilson Press, a fine sponsor of Weber This Week. Welcome back, everybody. It's a dog with you on a good old Monday morning for another edition of Weber This Week. Sharon Hoatland, our special guest this morning from across the street, the Gould. She does the marketing, she does the event planning, and a whole lot more. And, of course, we'll get back to her in just a second. But you sports fans had a chance, if you're into golf, to watch Jordan Spieth do something, a young Jordan Spieth phenom, to do something which was pretty incredible when you thought he had really not a shot of doing that based on the way Dustin Johnson hit the ball off the tee. What did he average? 338 yards off every tee, and he missed one fairway and 72 holes of play. This guy's hitting sand wedges in the 500-yard holes. Sand wedges. And poor guy had the putting blues yesterday. You felt bad. You cringed every time he got over the putt because you know and I know you thought he was going to miss it, and he did. And that 1 on 18 was horrendous. For him anyways, he hits a 5-iron in, second shot par 5, carries it about, 16, 18 feet, Jim? Maybe 18 feet?
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. The way that...
Amazing.
The way that...
Just terrible.
Dustin Johnson lost that tournament.
Oh, it was just horrendous. So if you didn't see, if you were in Moscow, just got back home, he rolls that first putt. He makes the putt. He wins the United States Open. He runs it by 3 feet, maybe 3 feet, maybe 3.5. And
about 4 feet by.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, oh, I hope he doesn't miss this. And now he's got to make it for birdie, which would have been a playoff today because the U.S. Open does not play sudden death anymore. They play 18 holes on the next day. He misses it, loses it. Grabs his son going to the scorer's tent, little baby, and his wife.
Paulina Gretzky.
Yeah, Pauline Gretzky, and it's just heartbreaking. But Jordan Spieth wins the first 2 majors, the Masters, now the United States Open. In a few weeks, they'll be at the course of the world, the best course of the world, according to a lot of people. The very first course, I guess people say, St. Andrews in Scotland will be the host of the British Open coming up, I believe, second week of July. Can Jordan Spieth win 3 in a row? It's amazing, Jim, how that tournament turned out.
I just can't believe, and that's one of the great things about golf, is when you have a guy with a putt to win the tournament.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's got a putt to make a playoff, and then he misses that, and all of a sudden Jordan Spieth wins. And in the
Just
U.S.
amazing.
Open, it's an 18-hole playoff the next day. So after he misses the first one, everybody's thinking, well, get ready, 18 holes,
Yeah.
Dustin Johnson and Jordan Spieth. That's an incredible
Right.
18-hole Monday playoff. And then he misses that, and then all of a sudden it's over, and Jordan Spieth has won the first 2 majors of the year.
Pretty amazing. Well, hey, as far as my concern, I don't think Chambers Bay will get it back again, in my personal view. I think it looked like you were playing golf on the moon with all the craters out there, and it was terrible for fans. They couldn't get close to the action. A lot of the pros were complaining about the course setup and the greens, and I would be shocked if they ever return there, even though the USGA officials want to make it sound good. I don't think it's ever going to go back there. I just think it was one and done, in my opinion. I just don't see it happening. There's too many golf courses in the world or in the country to go to other than Chambers Bay, with all due respect. And I know they brought it out to Pacific Northwest first time.
There's a lot of other courses out there, though, that are great courses.
Bingo.
that they could play.
And I wasn't a big fan of Fox's coverage. I'm a Johnny Miller and a Dan Hicks guy from NBC. I thought Fox, to me, did not do a great job. And I cracked up as just a simple viewer back here on State Street thinking about Shark Greg Norman, Christ, a Hall of Famer. But when he tried to go through this vertigo with Jason Day having been afflicted with vertigo, and he's had this disease for some time, when he tried to tell us, the viewer, the medical terminology of what was going on, he never got it right in 4 days. He tried to explain it, and he never got the term right. And I was telling Jimmy before we went on air with Sharon that the USGA must have 800 people from their organization at these U.S. Opens. They got people everywhere with the white shirts. Mm-hmm. You mean to tell me there's not a doctor on the USGA's team? There's got to be a doctor, a real doctor.
Bring
the doctor up to the booth so he can explain medically what's going on with Jason Day. I found that amazing. So, hey, it is what it is. Kudos if you're a Jordan Spieth fan, and so am I.
How can you not be?
Yeah, how can you not be? Nice young kid, great family. So good luck, and I guess the British Open will be spectacular. Can he do it?
I think he can.
Yeah.
I think the toughest one will be the PGA. I think Jordan Spieth enters the British Open at St. Andrews in July.
Something
What is
like
it? 17th, 18th, or something
like that. Yeah.
Is the favorite over Rory McIlroy.
Oh, absolutely, no question about it. We're back with Sharon Hoatland here on the Weber Show. It's good that she gets carve out 30 minutes of her busy schedule. Sharon, we talked about dinners, and I told you about my pot roast, Yankee pot roast being the favorite dish. Talk about your monthly deals, what you got going on every month that's sort of spectacular for our viewers to understand.
We have a lot of exciting things, and great for our local viewers to really tune in, take a look at our website, and we have a calendar that pretty much goes over. So I'll give you the Reader's Digest version. August, we are looking to do a beer dinner. We try to bring our local breweries since that business is booming in this area. We'll be pairing some of our local brews with our chef's choices, and we did a great harvest dinner last year, sold out. We had like for $35 you come in and you get a course, you get to try the different breweries, plus it's a fun thing. Grab your friends, get around, get an eight
People
table
were talking all about that for weeks after.
I know
That
it was
very
amazing.
popular.
And it's fun too because the chefs come out, they explain a little bit about what they do, and then they have the reps from the breweries that come, so that'll be happening. I believe it's August 8th, so just double check.
Okay.
We will be having one of the things that we're starting this fall is called the Great Women's Lecture Lunch Series.
Oh, wow.
And we're going to kick that off in September. I have a couple of ladies, and what my look at that is, we have a lot of spectacular women in this community.
Absolutely.
All over,
Right.
really. And one of the speakers I'm looking to get, and I'm not going to reveal a lot because
Right.
I don't want to commit, but one gal is from Hobart William Smith doing some great things with young women. And as soon as I get that locked in, that should be in September. Jill Teeshan, our new CEO of the Women's Hall of Fame, will be speaking right after the induction. So the Wednesday after, which is October 7th, we'll be having a luncheon for that. So she will be speaking on some of her things that she's done in her life and what's got her where she is today. So that'll be in October. The induction is a big part of our October month where we host the
Oh,
gala.
I know you do, yeah.
So the whole hotel will close at night. We open it up to guests that have bought tickets for the induction weekend. So we do that then. We will be doing probably something like a harvest dinner in October as well. And then we'll be featuring Denim to Diamonds for Trinity's Church
Bingo.
that month as well. There'll be a mystery dinner theater in October that will be hosted by the Finger Lakes Radio Group.
Nice.
And then we move on until November. Well, I'm sure we're going to have a Thanksgiving
Oh, sure.
feast. We will also have another lecture luncheon. Looking to get someone, and you know, if any of the viewers happen to know of a great woman, keep in mind I've only been here for 3 years.
Right.
So anyone that you would like to send in to me, because I really think it's awesome to highlight our representatives of women in our community
I
as
agree.
well, because there are a ton of them, I must
Oh,
say.
I know. Yep.
And so we are looking to do that, and then we move into the holidays. The end of November is going to be something different. We talked about it last year, Jim, because you were involved a little bit on the Light Up Seneca Falls. So it's going to happen where each of the store windows will all be closed dark right before everybody gets the lights on in the community.
Nice.
And then we'll invite all the community down and all the lights down the street, the new garlands, everything will be up, and we'll launch that
Kind
as
of
a
like
new
the official
event.
start of the holiday season.
Yes, it'll be
Seneca
like the
Falls.
launch of the season. So that'll be hosted by the Business Association, Seneca Falls Business Association, and the Gould. So we're really excited about that. And then, of course, we mosey on into December, Wonderful Life, which we can't forget that,
No.
which is going to get big. And I don't know if anybody realizes this, but next year will be the 70th anniversary.
How
so
many?
70 years of that
Wow.
Of the movie.
so you're going to be hearing, I don't want to steal any thunder
No,
of
I know.
that, but that's going to be pretty exciting. But then we move into our big event, which we feel has been an honor. The Antoninas, I think it's going to be the 17th year, or was it 18th now? Well, we're at 17th.
Long time.
Yeah.
A lot of years ringing in the new
Yes,
year.
yes, and so we're very excited about that. It was such a success for the Gould and the community last year. This whole street was amazing. So
Oh, I
we're
know.
very excited with that, and we're looking forward to that. And but it's something that I think the viewers and our local people should take a look at our website, see what's going on, get in the habit, like us on Facebook, and you'll find out all kinds of things. So it's pretty exciting to be a part of it. But this is an amazing community, I have to say.
It sounds like there's not a dull month in your job. You
No,
got a
not
lot of
really.
things going on.
It's a lot, but it's great. And all in between that is weddings and showers and parties and all in between of the good stuff of town. So we're really fortunate.
And by the way, if you missed it earlier on, I made full disclosure that I joined the Hotel Clarence when it was originally built across the street and renovated. I was there about a year and a half, and I will share Sharon's thoughts and her ideas regarding It's a Wonderful Life. Of course, it was a Clarence, obviously, back then. We would have visitors come in, guests that stayed over a night or two in the Finger Lakes to be a part of this. And I was at the front desk taking their reservations. And folks, I don't know if it's the same way back that it is now, but they would make reservations a year out.
Oh, it is, definitely.
Amazing. They would get so freaked out if we couldn't get them a room, because I think we had 48 rooms there. I don't know if
That's
it's still
right, 48 rooms.
It was amazing how quick that would sell out. People would call in from Michigan, Nebraska, Arizona.
So you're saying get your calls
Get
in
your,
Yes.
and by the
now.
way, if you haven't made a reservation to stay at the Hotel Gould, I recommend getting on the phone and calling up to make sure you got a room, because that used to be a sellout quickly.
Yes, and I will be,
Phenomenal.
and the same thing's going to happen for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I really see that. Even if you're like a few miles out, just to make it one big party downtown.
I
makes
agree.
it fun.
So get your reservation. And I felt so bad. We actually had to put people on a waiting list way
Yep.
back when it first opened.
And
'Cause-
keep in mind, it's been renovated.
yes.
So
And by the way, before we
don't
go
ask
off
me
the
where
air-
that film's going.
No. But
'Cause I'm
by the
not really
way,
sure yet.
I remember the old rooms using
Right?
that pun. But they say they've made them really beautiful now.
They're beautiful. I mean, it always had that echo go green feeling.
Yeah.
And they've just, the owner's daughter happens to be a decorator, and she did an amazing job
Oh, that's
of
great.
getting that all. And it's warmed up just by rugs and pictures. It's just amazing what a little bit does, but it looks fabulous. And we let people come in. If any of the locals want to stop in and just see the rooms, it's great. And don't forget to think about the wine trail packages. Check that out on the website too, because we do a lot of that, like
Oh, I know
bridal
you do.
parties and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's a fun
I
thing
remember
to
doing
do.
a lot of that book. And by the way, another one of your huge events that Jimmy records every year is the fashion show.
Oh yes,
That
yes,
is,
yes.
my wife talks about that for 6 months.
No, we have
Fabulous.
fun.
That's
Well, we
a
have a
great
great time. They've already started on it for next year.
Amazing.
And then benefits the House of Concern, which is another aspect of everything that happens at the Gould. Usually has some tie-in supporting some other local
Right.
organization, and so that's one of the great reasons to get down there, because you're supporting a local institution, and then in a lot of ways you're also supporting a lot of other local institutions in the same right. So right there on downtown, and as 40-something guy who grew up in Seneca Falls, you can't quite match the feeling of a Friday night at the bar at the Gould
Oh,
when you're
yeah.
looking outside of those corner windows and you're seeing downtown lit up and people are walking, and it's nice.
It is a nice feeling.
Well, Sharon, I'm sorry we're out of time, but we'll have you come back.
I would love to.
have
Thank you
an
for having me.
Open invitation to come back.
Thank you, Harold.
And by
Thank
the
you
way,
very
Sharon
much.
will let us know about any events, and we'll promote them during the course of the weekly shows. By the way, just so I close out with a reminder of upcoming guests here, keep in mind, next week, our friend Stu Peenstra, the chief of police of the town of Seneca Falls, he was here several months ago, getting an update from Stu next week about the police department. The following week will be July 6th. Right now, it'll be myself and Jimmy, and we'll probably get Dave Barnick, our broadcast partner, to come in, talk about the 4th of July and what's going on in the world of sports. And then on the 13th of July, we have the Historical Society. They have an event called Fun Days. Kay Arlen and Lorraine Withers will be on the couch. And then on the 20th, the folks from the Ramada in Geneva will be paying us a visit. They want to talk about the Live After 5 and other elements that they're involved in up in Geneva. They'll be here, led by Jason Hagerman, who's in charge of the entertainment and bar. That'll be on the 20th of July. So if you would like to come on the Weber Show, it's very easy. You know, we're booked out now, 4 weeks out? Please let us know through Jim or myself. You can email the dog on my homepage, and we'll be more than glad to book a date. Anything is open here. Just keep it clean. Talk about your son. Talk about your baseball team, your polo team. We don't care what it is. If it's important to you, it's important for me, and it's important to our viewers. So, again, thank you, Sharon, for joining us. We'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Enjoyed it.
Take care, everybody. Enjoy the week. It's supposed to be a nice weather week, so enjoy it and get out and enjoy this beautiful summer here in the Finger Lakes. For Sharon Hoatland, this is the dog, along with Jimmy Senecropi, bidding you a pleasant day.
Support great local content like this by becoming a patron of FingerLakes1.com. Visit patreon.com/FL1.
FingerLakes1.com. Come on.